Live from Hazard, Kentucky, this is Jammin John's Wrestling News. Here's your news for Friday, November 16th, 2018. We start off with some breaking news in the professional wrestling world. A Twitter user known as Kinsey, her handle being @ClickKid, is claiming on social media that former WWE star James Ellsworth has sent nude photos to her Snapchat. Ellsworth issued the following statement denying the allegations. "I categorically deny all allegations. Please direct all further communication to my attorney." Kinsey, who claims to be 16 years old on Twitter, sent out the following messages and photos. The first being a couple of photos of James Ellsworth taking mirror pics, the last one being a borderline nude selfie, and then Kinsey wrote underneath all those photos, "straight up pervert." Kinsey also got a photo from a female wrestler, which we don't know because the name and profile picture was covered up, but the female wrestler said to her, "Hey love, I saw your tweets and just wanted to check in with you. Us women wrestlers have had very uncomfortable experiences with Ellsworth, so hearing that he sent you nudes, especially if he didn't ask for them, is unsettling." Kinsey wrote back to the female wrestling fan, "Do you mind if I use this for proof he is weird? I'll blur out all your info. He is begging me on Snapchat and he is using his kids as a guilt trip to stop." The female wrestler said, "Yes, you can cut out my info. I might come forward eventually anyway because he's made a lot of you uncomfortable at this point. How old are you? I feel like he's a lot older than you and begging," and it stops right there. Now, the next thing was a couple of photos from a camera roll that were blurred out, very inappropriate stuff, and underneath that Kinsey wrote, "Literally all screenshots for people who think I'm lying," shaking my head. Some of them being D-pics. A person by the name of Jokas tweeted back to Kinsey, "Why screenshot the poor guy?" To which Kinsey replied back, "'Cause I'm 16, he's 34. Now I also want to add that Kinsey made a video explaining how she met James Ellsworth and how all this went down, and I have the audio from that video and I'm going to play it right now in just a few moments. But I would first like to add that the original audio had a lot of cursing, and where I am partnered with Amazon and where not only I have adults but kids listening to JJWN, I've decided to reverse the curse words in the audio. So if you hear reverse words, you know that is the bad words. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys listen to Kinsey's statement on how she met James Ellsworth and how all of this went down. So here it is.
Time to get into this ish. It's really crazy. So you guys are all, a few of you are like, "Oh, this is like on you, your fault," but it's literally not. So I met Ellsworth at an indie show Friday, November 9th. And I was like, "Hey dad, like I want to meet him." And my friend came up to me and she's like, "Yo," like I can even get my friend to speak out about this. She was like, "Yo, he's a total creep. He was asking me for this and that." She's like, "At the end of the show, he asked me to meet him at his car and a lot of other ish." I mean, now she's 30, okay, so I can see that. But me, he asked me my age. And he was like, "Oh, how old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 16. And he's like, "Oh, never mind." So I asked him to follow me on Twitter because, I was like, but before, like, I talked to him or anything, I was like, "Oh, hey, can you follow me on Twitter?" So he followed me. And I DM'd him on Saturday. I was just like, "Oh, hey, good luck wrestling tonight." Because honestly, I can't lie. I was a fan of him. So I was just like, "Hey, good luck." And so he asked me for my Snapchat. And I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't call for this at all. And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I gave him my Snapchat. And then he added me. And you guys all want his Snapchat. Literally, you can hit me up and I'll give you the screenshot of him adding me. I have the screenshot of him asking me for my Snapchat. I have screenshots of his nudes. I have screenshots of mirror selfies he sent me. I have screenshots of selfies he sent me. I have videos of nudes he sent me. I have videos of him. I'm not gonna go and make this up like this because that's wrong. Also, when I put the post out, multiple female wrestlers hit me up and have said, "This isn't the first time he's done something like this. He is a total creep. Backstage at events, he makes us female wrestlers feel so uncomfortable and tries to get with all of us." So, no, I'm not lying about any of this. I'm sure yo, I'm getting like, I can't talk. A lot of you are going to take his side, and I'm fine with that, but I know I'm not lying, and whoever wants to see the pictures, screenshots, videos, literally just hit me up, and I will show you guys, because this is not ish to joke about or lie about. Y'all just need to accept the fact that he's literally a weirdo.
Now, James Ellsworth released a statement of his own. Ellsworth's legal representation has released a statement via Twitter. That statement reads, "My client, James Morris, known publicly and professionally as James Ellsworth, has become aware of a number of baseless allegations. Mr. Morris has the utmost respect for women and categorically denies these inflammatory and despicable accusations. Bates and Garcia, attorneys at law." Kinsey also posted a tweet a few hours ago saying, "I have so much people DMing me for the pics. I'm literally trying my best to send them to everyone. I'm not lying about this at all. Never in a million years would I lie about something like this. I would only be jeopardizing myself and my family. I don't need that for them or me." This situation right here reminds me so much of the Enzo Amore situation from last year. Even though they might be a little bit different, it just kind of reminds me of that. And I will tell you this, I believe Kinsey. It is the truth. James Ellsworth did go and send lewd photos and videos to this 16-year-old girl. I have seen them. They're all over wrestling news sites. It's all over the internet. So it is true. And man, I am just so shocked. I am so disgusted by this. You know, I had a lot of respect for James for a while because he was this indie guy that got a big shot at WWE to live out his dream, and then he turns around and he does something very despicable like this. What in the hell is wrong with you, man? You have 2 kids. 2 kids. You said last year in an interview that your kids were your life and that you would do anything for your kids. You literally went and jeopardized your kids' lives and futures for the pleasure of your own flesh. You need to be locked up. You need to be locked up. And not only do you need to be locked up, you need to be blackballed from the WWE, from Impact Wrestling, hell, from pro wrestling as a whole. You don't belong here. It just makes me sick. As always, stay tuned to Jammin John's Wrestling News for any further breaking news updates on this story, and we will have a lot more breaking news updates on this story. I believe that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think you will see a lot of female wrestlers and fans speak up and speak out against Ellsworth. So, if I know anything else, I'll let you guys know. Kinsey, you got my support. Stay strong, girl. I know that you want to be in the pro wrestling business. I know that you want to be a pro wrestler. Stay true to your dreams. Don't let idiots like that keep you down. You keep pushing on. It's just disgusting that a grown man with 2 kids messaging a 16-year-old girl like that, man. That can happen to your kids right now. That can happen to your kids as they grow up. I mean, come on, man. What an idiot. Alright, moving on. Former WCW star Disco Inferno brought up the criticism that Nia Jax has gotten for injuring Becky Lynch on Raw. Disco Inferno tweeted on Twitter, "Unsafe wrestling gets this as awesome chants from fans until someone gets hurt. Then those same fans go on social media to bury the wrestler for being unsafe." And on the topic of Nia and Becky, on his most recent podcast, Chris Jericho gave his thoughts on the Nia Jax Becky Lynch incident. Chris Jericho said, "If you see the punch she took, oh my gosh, it didn't look like a potato. It looked like a legitimate, deliberate punch to the face. But whatever, we'll hold off on judgment for that." Thanks to WrestlingNews.co for the quote. PWInsider.com is reporting that former X Division champion Trevor Lee has left Impact Wrestling. In addition to that, it appears that WWE is interested in having Lee join the NXT brand. WWE is expected to announce new signings in January, and Lee could end up being on that list. While appearing on Edge and Christian's podcast, Shawn Michaels explains why he worked the match at Crown Jewel by saying, "So look, one upside is it's just one of those things I'm curious about. You know, I can do my stuff. So technically, yeah, I could go in there and do my stuff and have a young guy work around me and all that. But the 100% only reason I said yes to this one was it was a special request by other people, and again, I look at it as somebody as the Rolling Stones and Kiss to come over and play their greatest hits. Shawn Michaels continued on by saying, I mean this respectfully of course, but technically I'd make more with a singles match at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Because that brand is bigger, I'm charging more for a singles match, but I didn't feel like I was put in the position in that particular match to be that guy. The idea of me working against a much younger guy at WrestleMania puts me in a much tougher, difficult situation performance-wise, and that's something that has been consistent over the last 8 years, as I had not wanted to be put in that position because I'm good with the performances I had at WrestleMania, and I wanted to end those the way that I ended them. This just happened to be a special thing that I didn't think in a million years would come up, but it did, and that's honestly the only reason I said yes. Thanks to RingsideNews.com for the quotes. And finally, here on Jammin John's Wrestling News, here are the current betting odds for WWE Survivor Series 2018, courtesy of BetWrestling.com and 5 Dimes. For the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown traditional 10-on-10 elimination tag team match, that's on the kickoff show, Team Raw positive 220, Team SmackDown negative 300. For the Cruiserweight Championship, Cruiserweight Champion Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali, Buddy Murphy negative 190, Mustafa Ali positive 150. For the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Women's Elimination Tag Team match, Team Raw positive 110, Team SmackDown negative 150. For the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Men's Elimination Tag Team match, Team Raw positive 110, Team SmackDown negative 130. For the Bar versus the Offers of Pain, the Champion versus Champion match, the Bar positive 170, Offers of Pain negative 230. Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins versus United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura, Champion versus Champion. Seth Rollins positive 115, Shinsuke Nakamura negative 155. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair in a non-title match, Ronda Rousey negative 1,000, Charlotte Flair positive 500. And in the main event of Survivor Series 2018, Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus WWE Champion Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar negative 300, Daniel Bryan positive 220. The favorites have the negative symbol and the underdogs have the positive symbol. For the favorites, the number represents the amount of money you would need to risk to win $100. For the underdogs, the number represents the amount of money you would win if you risk $100. That is your news for Friday, November 16th, 2018. Be sure to keep it locked right here on Jammin John's Wrestling News for any further breaking news updates on the James Ellsworth Incident. Check back here tomorrow for the results of NXT TakeOver War Games 2 on Amazon Alexa devices. Big shout out to everybody listening to this on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Stewie Family is the name. Follow me on Twitter at John Caldwell, JONCOLWELL. Follow me on Instagram, The Jammin John. If you'd like to sponsor Jammin John's Wrestling News or your wrestling promotion, wanting to get your next big event out through the awesome power of Amazon Alexa, you can email me, jzcaldwell@gmail.com. That's JZCOLWELL@gmail.com. Big shout out to Ryan Hurdle and Tony Nelson for subscribing to my Patreon. You too can subscribe to me by going to patreon.com/jamminjohn. I have free packages on there ranging from free to $7. Not a whole lot of money. I would really appreciate it if you supported me a little bit financially. Once again, that's patreon.com/jamminjohn. This is Jammin John saying thanks, goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow.